We don't have a gun problem. We have a culture problem. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms for NRA certification and multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. But let's talk about this here. There was a gun store in Florida, and it was broken into, and there was obviously there was a robbery there, and 22 guns were removed from the premises. Now, here comes the shocking part. The alleged robbers are brothers. One is 14 and one is 11. Let's watch a little video here on this, once again, to put some context to it.
Thank you. Well, for the first time, you are watching two children ransack a gun shop in Cape Coral. Cape Coral police officers tell us that is an 11-year-old boy and his 14-year-old brother smashing glass cases, stuffing trash bags with as many guns as they could carry. Now, if you were with us yesterday, you know, police had to chase down, I should say, Lucas and Felix Ayala. They arrested them. They're now accused of stealing 22 guns and plenty of ammo.
The first thing you're probably thinking when you hear this story is, where are the parents? Well, we talked to their father yesterday, and he says he's tried everything to keep his boys out of trouble.
Last night they tried to sneak out maybe 3 or 4 times. I went over there, I locked the bicycles together and everything. I even put like cutting boards by doors so if they tried, they could knock it over and everything. And then all of a sudden they go like this and they still make it out.
NBC2's Jennifer Vaglis is live outside the gun store in the Cape, explaining why these boys are likely to be back on the streets in less than 3 weeks.
Well, today, both brothers made their first appearances in court. A judge gave each of them 21 days in juvenile detention. But for 14-year-old Felix, with his lengthy rap sheet, things could turn out differently. This is Felix and Lucas Ayala at the Lee County Courthouse this morning, nearly 24 hours after the duo's elaborate scheme to run off with 22 guns from Guns for Less off Del Prado Boulevard early Wednesday morning.
As if they had gotten away with it, who knows?
Around 2 a.m., busting in through this back door after attempts to turn off the power and disable the store's alarm system.
That's something that a skilled burglar would know.
New video tonight shows 14-year-old Felix and 11-year-old Lucas rushing inside with Darth Vader masks, a work glove, trash bags, and a mini sledgehammer. One brother taking a firearm to shatter a glass display. The duo rushing to fill bags. Meanwhile, the gun store owner was watching the cameras remotely, calling police. Cape Coral PD arresting both brothers after one ran south, ditching the firearms. The other across Del Prado Boulevard with a rifle.
They need to understand that there are real consequences that come with this sort of thing.
Tonight, we're learning this isn't Felix's first time behind bars. Before the heist, in 2020, the now 14-year-old was arrested for making threats to conduct a mass shooting. Then, in February 2021, breaking a Fort Myers pawn shop window with a hammer and robbing a Wawa. FGCU forensic study professor Dr. David Thomas says acting out like this at such a young age could be from a number of things.
The greater influence of that is the environment, meaning that it's parents, it's peers, it's what happens at school.
And at age 14, those behaviors are hard to break, but there are things a parent can do.
If the school has a program where they can go during part of the day, that's where they go. Anything other than just sitting at the house.
Now, earlier today, I asked the Lee County Clerk of Courts if Lucas has faced any prior criminal history, but I'm told because he is a juvenile, his records are not available to the public. I'm live in Cape Coral tonight. Jennifer Vaglis, NBC2.
You heard that. You saw that. Now I'm going to this New York Post article. Brothers, 14 and 11, busted for stealing 22 guns from a Florida shop. Two Florida siblings, aged 14 and 11, were arrested for stealing an arsenal of firearms and ammo from a gun store, including an AR-15 pistol, cops said. The juveniles entered Guns for Less in Cape Coral around 3 a.m. Wednesday after unsuccessfully trying to cut power to the business and then prying open a rear door. As they smashed display cases, cops received an alarm alerting them to the break-in. Responding, officers spotted the brothers running from the scene, armed with multiple handguns, ammunition, magazines, and long guns, Cape Coral police said. Spokesperson Sergeant Julie Green said the boys eventually dropped their cash on the street due to the weight of the multiple guns and ammunition and scampered off in separate directions with cops in pursuit. But the brothers were eventually located and now face 22 counts of grand theft of a firearm, 1 count of armed burglary, and several other raps. The older sibling was also charged with violating his probation from a prior armed robbery charge. The store owner told police that the suspects had previously entered the store during business hours and were told to leave. All 22 guns, including the AR-15 pistol, which has a shortened barrel and no stock, were recovered. Green said investigators are probing if the brothers are linked to prior crimes in the area. Okay. As I said, we don't have a gun problem, we have a culture problem. 14 and 11. Now you heard the father briefly in the video there saying how he could not control his sons. Well, that's your fault, sir. That's your fault. Because you know what? You should, that's too many parents with these, in this generation, each generation gets worse with this, where they treat their children like their friends instead of them being the parent and the child being their child. That father, you can see there's a long string of problems with these two kids. That father should have been breaking his foot off in their asses on a regular basis. The 14-year-old already has an armed robbery charge. That right there should have been spare the rod and spoil the child. No, you need to be lighting his ass on fire, period. Now they've done this and they've escalated this. Now at their age, they're probably not going to get as far as anything. They're not going to get much of what are they going to do to him? It's not murder, unfortunately, but what are they going to do with him? And here's the next question. Why did they feel the need to steal 22 guns? What were they going to do with all that? Who were they going to give them to? There's a whole lot of backstory here that needs to be explained, what their intentions were for breaking in and stealing 22 different guns. But the fact that these teenagers, well, one of them, and one's a preteen, had the cojones to go in and do something like this tells you that this is not a gun thing. This is truly a culture thing. What gave them the inspiration to go pull this off? I mean, a couple of idiots. And I'm sorry, a father needs to be scrutinized also, because he apparently is not doing his job as father and keeping these kids in line, because this is just outrageous. But they were caught, and I'm going to keep an eye on this and see where this goes, because if they let them off with a slap on the wrist, this is going to embolden them to go further, and at some point they're going to take somebody's life. As I said before, the 14-year-old has already is on record, is on probation for an armed robbery, which means he was confronted somebody with a firearm and robbed them. This kid is going to escalate. If he isn't pulled in now, he's going to escalate this to killing somebody. Parents need to be damn parents and stop being friends to your kids. Break your foot off in their behind when they need it. But this is a real shame here. But hopefully, maybe this time the justice system will stop being progressive and actually acknowledge that there is a growing threat with these two and handle it accordingly. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get notified the next time a video goes live. I will see you on the next one. Peace.